Since my previous report on implementation...
According to a report released by the International Atomic Energy Agency, Iran has been working towards building a nuclear weapon since 2003. The report, which was handed over to the 35 member states of the IAEA Board of Governors, details a series of tests, acquisition of materials, and technology that suggests Iran has continuously worked to produce a nuclear weapon since 2003. France said on Wednesday it wanted to convene the UN Security Council and could push for unprecedented sanctions against Iran after an International Atomic Energy Agency report said that Iran had worked to develop an atomic bomb design. Foreign Minister Alain Juppé told RFI Radio that convening of the UN Security Council is called for. He said it was necessary to convince China and Russia, which are likely to oppose the Fifth Security Council sanctions resolution against Iran. President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad said Iran won't retreat, quote, an iota from its nuclear program, but is strongly rejecting a UN report claiming that Tehran is seeking atomic weapons. Ahmadinejad chided the UN International Atomic Energy Agency, saying it is discrediting itself by siding with invalid U.S. claims that Iran is seeking to develop nuclear weapons. A draft report by a key UN Security Council committee obtained by Reuters on Tuesday declared that members could not reach consensus on whether Palestine should be accepted as a UN member state. The report of the Council's Committee on Admitting New Member States said the committee was unable to make a unanimous recommendation to the Security Council. The report was circulated to all 15 Security Council members on Tuesday. The 4-page draft appears to confirm that the Palestinian move to join the world body as a full member, which Western envoys said was doomed from the outset due to a U.S. vow to veto it if it ever came to a vote in the Council, is set to fail due to the Council's unresolvable deadlock. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas applied for full UN membership for the State of Palestine on September 23rd. The Palestinians can still call for a vote in the Security Council, but diplomats say it is not clear whether they will do so, given that Washington will likely not need to use its veto to block it. The Palestinians could score a moral victory and force Washington to cast its veto if they are able to get 9 votes to support them in the Council. A Council resolution needs 9 vetoes in favor and no vetoes to pass. A Continental Airlines Boeing 777 aircraft made an emergency landing at Ben Gurion International Airport on Wednesday after pilots noticed smoke coming from the baggage compartment after takeoff. The U.S.-bound plane, with about 280 passengers on board, returned to Ben Gurion and made a safe landing. A passenger on the plane said that shortly after takeoff, the flight crew informed the passengers that smoke had been identified as coming from the baggage compartment and that the plane would be returning to Ben Gurion. The first environmental performance review for Israel took place on Tuesday and was hosted by the Environmental Protection Ministry. Officials from the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, the OECD, praised Israel's environmental progress and offered suggestions for improvement. They recognized Israel as a latecomer to the environmental protection field that bears both an increasingly dense population and water scarcity. The report also praised the country on the growth of its clean tech sector and its internationally competitive development of renewable energy and water technologies. While praising Israel for the use of green taxes in the country, the report proposed more effective schemes of allotting those taxes. Heavy criticism fell on the government's inefficient implementation of much-needed environmental legislation and the fact that Israel's energy mix relies on more carbon-based sources than many other OECD countries. The report also stressed the importance of completing and implementing this year's Clean Air Law as a future means of reducing levels of greenhouse gas emissions. As makeup artists and hairdressers surround her, Huda Nachashe calmly discusses the media frenzy spiked by her appearance on the cover of an Israeli Arab magazine wearing a skimpy bikini. The long-limbed 22-year-old, who comes from the mixed Israeli and Arab port city of Haifa, doesn't see the cover shoot for Lilac magazine as anything out of the ordinary. For her, it was simply part of a campaign in the run-up to the Miss Earth competition in Thailand this December, where she will represent Israel. But the cover shoot was the first time an Arabic magazine here has put a model in a bikini on its cover, and the first time an Israeli Arab model has been featured on a front page in so little clothing. The image in question featured a defiant-looking Nechashe in a black sequined bikini, an open white shirt draped over her shoulders, and her thumbs hooked in the sides of her bikini bottom. The caption that caused an immediate media buzz read in English, "Miss Huda rocks this earth." To the comments, Nechashe turned aside and flicked her long dark hair.